So I want you guys to follow me, join me on here so we can have some fun and silly a little bit. But the main goal is to teach you about how home-based businesses can improve your financial life. So tune in.
Hey, lady.
Hey.
Look, I'm about to break out into some cool in the game. It's ladies' night and the mood is right. We done dog Tony for the night, so it's ladies' night.
Oh,
yeah. It's good to see y'all. Happy Friday. I hope everybody's Friday has been good.
Yep, mine has been good.
Happy Friday.
Yes. My daughter is going to officially be a teenager tomorrow. So I've been in my feelings all week because I'm not ready.
You ain't gonna never be ready. Might as well and you have to just get ready.
Yeah.
I'm in my feet, but you know, it's Friday. 13 years ago today, I had no idea what was finna hit into my life for the next 13 years. So here we are.
Okay.
Well, happy Friday, y'all. We are back. I have the ladies here with me. Tony ducked out on us to go somewhere and do something. You know, he been posting his little stuff on Facebook with him. He posted one yesterday where he was drinking something talking about he got a fruit salad. He just added some clear stuff to it. I was like, well, don't nobody want to see you right now. You're not here. Keep your comments to yourself. But he looks like he's having fun. Of course, he used the elevation travel, which is a part of our business, to book his trip. And looks like they're in a good location, and it looks like they're having a good time. So since he is not here and it's ladies' night, let me introduce my co-host. We have here next to me Miss Gio from Boss Life Online.
Hello, everybody.
And down here under us, we have Miss Pandy from Pandy's Hair, Candy, and More.
Hey,
so
everybody.
Today's title is Let's Learn Money While We Earn Money. And I thought that was a good title because for our home-based business, My Econ, what we are doing is learning about money, but while we learn, we're also making money. So you learn it while you earn. So I decided today to take it back old school. When I first started back in 2015, one of the presentations that made so much sense to me was we call it the 243. So I'm going to share that just to give, because you know people always like, okay, My Econ, what do you do? And it's kind of hard to explain because in specific, My Econ is short for My Economy. So what I do may not be the same thing that Geo does, which also may not be the same thing Fanny does. It's like the example I use is they gave all of us a bag of Legos and we could build whatever we want. But we all got the same, you know, pieces. It's just up to us to decide what we want to do. So My Econ is a personal finance company where we teach people how to use strategies to keep more of your money in your pocket. We call it income shifting because we're shifting our money back into our pockets instead of giving it away. So the premises for this business can be, I'm going to go to our little outline here, and I hope y'all can see it. It's kind of small. But this is can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we call the 243. 243 stands for 2 objectives. Hey, Marlene. 2 objectives, 4 challenges, and 3 solutions. So what we do with this business, we focus on our objectives, the challenges that keep us from meeting our objectives, and we go over a few strategies that you can use to make sure that you're doing all that. Okay, so first one we have is 2 objectives. So for everybody that's working, we generally have 2 objectives. The first one is to pay for our current lifestyle. That means paying for your utilities, your rent, car note, anything that you need money for in the here and now. The second objective is to pay for your future lifestyle, which for most of us means retirement. So at this point, we're twofold in what we're trying to do. We're trying to do future and current at the same time. And that can be hard to do because you only have so much money to work with, right? So those are our two main objectives. So next, let's talk about the challenges. So there are usually 4 challenges that keep us from meeting these objectives. And I'll get some feedback from you ladies on these because these are all things that I know we've all been hit with as far as objectives. So the first one is called, let's see, the first one is, oh, it's so small I can't see it. Inflation. Inflation is what we call the silent killer. But the running joke me and Tony have been having is inflation hasn't been silent lately. It's been hollering. It's been like, hey, look, you can't pay that much no more. We need more money for that. So when you think inflation, what are some of the things, Gio, that you think about as far as like inflation is affecting you the most? Oh, you're
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Inflation,
mhm.
groceries.
Yes, Lord.
I mean,
Groceries.
I was in the store the other day. Eggs used to be $1.30 something or $1.25, $5.62 for 12 eggs.
And
So
what's crazy, those same 12 eggs, look, this time last year would cost you what?
last year, I believe last year they were like maybe 164.
See them? That is inflation at its best. What about you, Candy? Where has inflation hit you?
Definitely with the groceries for sure. I'm looking like Geo's, your prices are still cheap because in my area, a dozen eggs is $7.76.
Wow.
And then also commuting to work, the gas prices.
Definitely the gas. And, gas, grocery stores, fast food, everywhere you turn, the cost, and it's like, if you're not getting a cost of living raise, which is hard to do, because every time they give you a little bit of a raise, the cost of living goes up. So you never get to a point where you're on the same page. So it's almost like what you could have lived off of. It's kind of like what we were talking about before, Gio. $10,000 20 years ago versus $10,000 today, and you trying to live off of it for 3 or 4 years. I don't see it happening. Okay. So that's inflation is the first challenge. We call it the not so silent killer. Okay, the second one is we call it the chainsaw massacre, and that is taxes. Taxes should have been the first because they don't get that off the top. When you go purchase stuff at the store, when you get money coming out of your paycheck, if nobody else, Uncle Sam gonna get his part. So what's the saying? There's only 2 things in life that you can count on, and there's death and taxes.
Yeah.
So taxes is that second thing. So far we've got inflation working against us, and we have taxes. The third thing is debt. And debt is what piles up when you don't have enough money from inflation due to inflation, and then it took money for taxes. So all you have left is what you come home with. And
Right.
most of us, you know, when you done worked all week, don't you want to go out and do something other than pay a bill? If,
Well,
and see, this is the point where people start turning to credit cards, things of that nature, to finance things, because there's a saying they say about credit: it's just paying to borrow money you can't afford.
Right.
So if you're using a credit card, you're accumulating interest, depending on whether you're paying it off at the end of every month. And most people cannot afford to do that if they're using a credit card as another form of money. Because if
Right.
you had money, you wouldn't use the card, right?
Exactly.
So that's our third thing. The fourth one that bites into our money is, oh, hi MLW Fishing. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. Life of Marlene and MLW Fishing Man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Okay, so the fourth thing is what we call big business. Now I want y'all to think about 12 months in a year, right? Every month, name something that you might spend from big business money on in January.
Hmm.
Perhaps New Year's, going out for New Year's. In February, we usually have what? Valentine's Day.
And they, yeah, April
So
is, yeah,
big business is sort of like the things that we're being pulled into. Like in November, there's Black Friday. If you're going on spring break in March, or if there's Easter, you tend to spend money. So big business is when they try to draw you in to spend money, and you may not necessarily even need it, but you know how you'll see, oh, they got this buy one get one free. I'm gonna go on and get like four of them, just
right,
because they're making it more available to you. So that is what we call big business. So these four things are what typically keeps us from reaching our objectives, because all during the year you got stuff coming up, either expected or unexpected. If your car breaks down, you may have to use a credit card. So that's you getting adding more debt. Um, like we were saying about the groceries and everything, there's cost of living going up, inflation. You can't plan for these type things, specifically, because you never know when those things are going to happen. Now the holidays and taxes, you can kind of foresee what that's going to be, but the other things are more up in the air. So what my econ did, after they showed us about these and everything, the next thing they talked about was the good part. So we've looked at two objectives, four challenges. Now let's look at some solutions, the good stuff. All right, so let's see. So on our little sheet, we filled out the two objectives and we filled out the four challenges. Let's go down and look at solutions. Okay, the first thing that you can do as a W-2 employee, if you're working, you can update your W-4. When you update that W-4, that, depending on how much you may or may not be, having taken out of your check and taxes, when you become a home-based business owner, you get to keep a lot of money from deduction or write-off. So what we're looking at is, let's say, prior to joining my econ and starting your own business, they were taking out $400, and I'm just throwing a number out there, $400 in taxes. And then after you get in, you end up only getting 200 out. Well, that's an extra $200 that you're bringing home every pay period, however often you get paid, that you can put back into your pocket. Now, when we say put it back in your pocket, we don't mean go out there and buy Nikes and go on a trip, or get some Uggs. We mean, not that you can't treat yourself, but if you're getting an extra $400 back in your paycheck because you have a business, now is the time to figure out what strategy you want to use to eliminate some debt. So the first strategy is updating your W-4. Let's see. Try to go to, okay. And that's gonna put some cash in your pocket and kind of give yourself a pay raise. All right. So the next thing is uh business income. If you have a home-based business, not only are you learning how to save money, eliminate debt, fix your credit, all of these things are putting more money in your pocket. Another form of income is business income. So in my econ, they have a compensation system where if you refer people and they decide to join your team and help in our goal to teach everybody how to meet those two objectives, you will get compensated for that. So now You've got money coming in, number one, from where you have updated your W-4. You sat down and thought about how you want to eliminate your debt. Maybe you've paid off something and now you got extra money coming in from there. You're learning how to fix your credit, which is going to give you lower interest rates on items you get ready to purchase. So all of these things are different streams of income. And on top of that, we got business income. So let's say, I'm not sure exactly what the compensation is for each level, but there are levels. And depending on how many you have on your team, you will get residual income from this. So not only will you get income from when people got started, but as long as they're with my econ, you have an opportunity to get residual income. Okay. The third strategy is investment income. So let's just say in a perfect world, you have updated your W-4, you eliminated all your debt, your credit is perfect. You're getting all this extra money coming in from those things as well as people you're referring in the business. So now you're getting to the point where you have some money that you can use as passive income. And passive income is more like investment income. What we like to say is that's when you make money while you sleep. Because one of the tools that you also get that helps us learn while we earn is an investment tool. And they don't tell you what to invest in, but they do teach you the terminology and kind of get you in a position to set yourself up to win based on investment. So just as an example, what I did when I first got started, I didn't know anything about, like, I had a 401k, but I was one of those people that every time I left a job, I cashed it out and took it with me and spent it. I didn't roll nothing over. I just basically spent the money and started over when I started a new job. So of course, if I did that in my 20s and 30s, by the time I turned 40 and find out about this business, I'm already behind 20 working years. So had I started off with this investment knowledge, I probably would have did better about rolling over the 401k or putting more money in it. So what I did when I first started, I got with a financial person from Primerica, and I asked them to look at my investments I was doing on the job. Because, I don't know about y'all, when I went to orientation, they went over that at the last part of the day. I'm already tired. I don't know what they're talking about. They tell you just sign something, turn it in. That's what I did. Then they would send me these statements. Back in the day it was mail. Now they do it by email. They would send me this quarterly statement. I'm looking over all this paper. I don't know what they talk about with some Invesco and something. I'm like, what is this? So what I learned to look for is whether it was a gain or a loss. So I would see my starting, whatever for this quarter, my ending, whether I gained or whether I lost. But I had no idea what all that stuff meant. So after joining this business and getting to a point where I was ready to play catch up with my investments, I sat down and talked to my financial advisor, and he talked to me about, minimal risk versus medium risk versus high risk. How much you should put in as far as investing. When, where to cut it off. Like for me, the company I was working for when I first started, they would match up to, what was it? I think maybe 5% or something. I don't know. So what they advised was, for whatever amount they don't match, you put that amount in there, definitely. Now, if you want to put more, that's basically up to you. But if they're not matching it, you can take that same money and invest it somewhere else. So I learned about money market accounts versus dealing with the bank, CDs, things of that nature. So anytime you're dealing with investments, you want to have some knowledge of what's going on. So now, I'm still not saying I know what's going on from cover to cover on that report when I get it, but I know better than I did when I first started. And during my time with my econ, I've also taken some stock investment classes, to learn the basics about that. Trading stock and different stuff. And like I said, I'm nowhere near where I should be, but it's my economy. So if I want to get there, I have to invest the time and the work. The information is there. It's just up to me to get in there and get it. So that's the conclusion of the 243. So two objectives is to pay for your current lifestyle and your future lifestyle with the money that you have now. Four challenges are inflation, taxes, debt, and purchasing decisions based on big business. And then the three solutions will be to I don't know why I got that so small, but it's update your W-4, get some business income, and work on your investment income. So that's pretty much it for this, except for I think this slide just basically breaks it down. And then we have down here your number one asset. Okay, so this is just an example of like, a lot of people don't realize that when they have a home-based business, things that they usually would not get reimbursed for or deductions, you can now get those. So here are a few of the basic examples. Like it's over 400 and some deductions that home-based business owners could possibly be eligible for. The ones we hit on here are like, okay, mortgage or rent. If you are using your home and you're working out of your home, then that part of your home, based on the square footage and all that, the IRS allows you to write part of that off as workspace, because they look at it like if you were working at a brick and mortar, you would be paying rent, you would be paying utilities, you would be paying all of the things that you're paying at home for this business. So you get to take off a portion. I think in this example, we used like if your mortgage is $1,000 and you get reimbursed 20%, or you get to write off 20%, and that leaves you with $200 each month putting back in your pocket. So where for $1,000 a month, 12,000 would have been what you did before. Now you're looking at, oh Lord, I need my glasses. You're looking at whatever 12 times the rest of it is. Okay. Same thing with utilities. Like for utilities, in this example, it's saying utilities are $500. 20% of that would be $100. So that's $100 a month, or $1,200 that you're able to write off because of having your business. The next one is cell phones. Cell phones, if you have a home phone, you can write your cell phone off 100%. But if your cell phone is the only phone you have, of course you're using it for personal and business. So 85% you would be able to write off. Mileage. Right now, mileage is 65.5 cents a mile. So that means for every mile that you drive in while you're dealing with your business, you can write that mileage off. So if I decide I want to drive over to Texas and see Geo, and we sit down and work out what we're gonna do for our business for the next 6 months, I can write that mileage off because this is a business trip. Anytime, whatever, if we go out to eat, that all falls under business because it's a legitimate business trip. So the key is, in my opinion, you don't want to make a home-based business a part of your lifestyle. You want to make your lifestyle a business. So things that you generally would do without the intention of doing business, you got to change your mindset and start doing it as a business person. If you go into the grocery store, the same grocery store where inflation is knocking you upside the head, when you go in there, have your business cards with you, pass them out. Ask people, have they heard about income shifting? Get a phone number, they call you, mileage to the grocery store, you can write that off. Or if I were going to have, before COVID, we did a lot of home meetings and stuff. So if I was having a meeting at my house and inviting everybody over, I'm going to go out and buy some bottled water, maybe some cheese and crackers, stuff like that. All of that I can write off because that's a business expense. Is everybody going to eat up all that stuff? Probably not. Whatever's left over is still mine. But it's paid for through my business. So that is how you kind of have to start changing your mindset and how you look at things. Okay, what else we got? We got meals and entertainment. Now, I don't know if that's currently correct. There has been, I'd have to look at that to see if it's still 50%, because at one point I think it had changed. What does that say? Oh, I can't read that. Oh, internet. So internet is 100%. If you're doing it for a home-based business, you can write that off at 100%. So just from these examples here, what we calculated out was this person was able to write off $12,000 just based on those few things. And that's not even touching on everything, like if you had to buy a new computer, if you had to get new earbuds, if you had to get a printer, all of those things can be added in. And then, of course, we have our, did I not? Okay, our cash flow manager. And that's our app where we would put this information in. So we're going in, we're adding expenses, we're adding income. This comes with the business. We also sell it as a side product. But you have that to make sure that you are staying on top of everything and everything's getting counted. So like at the end of the year, if I'm putting everything in every week, then when it's time to do taxes, all I'm doing is hitting the button and sending this printout, which has categorized all of my expenses and put them in date order, and all my accountant or whoever does your taxes has to do is just plug and play. You got the information there. The key to this, though, and I've learned this the hard way, you got to put it in there. If you don't put anything in that cash flow manager, that's exactly what you're going to get. Nothing. You don't get to write off nothing, because you have to have proof. Two things you need to have a home-based business is an intent to make a profit, which every time you share a video, get online, pass out a business card, all of that, you have an intent to make a profit. Other thing is, you got to keep good records. You don't have any excuse. You got the cash flow manager. All you got to do is plug it in. It's an app on your phone. I got it on my desktop. I can put it on a tablet. Whatever you put in from any location, it's gonna be in wherever you open the app. The last thing I have down here is a letter, and this one is kind of old. It's from 2005, but what it's basically saying is the Internal Revenue Service themselves managed to let this little juicy tidbit get out, and I'm sure they regret it. But it's basically saying that for that year, more than 80% of Americans overpaid taxes, and that the average, I can't read it good, but there's an average amount, I think it was like about $2,000. So basically what they're saying is, and then they said it might be better for you, instead of using this as a forced saving account, which is what most people do when they say, well, I done heard people say, we have Christmas in January after the taxes, So they're basically, when people are waiting on the end of the year to get their taxes instead of getting it back during the year, they are treating this money as a forced savings account. And it might be, I know some people who feel like that's a better fit for them. But for me personally, I enjoy getting my money during the year, paying down my debt, and I would rather not get a refund and be good the whole year long than waiting on the first of the year to pay off a bill from last year. So it's all about, mentality and how you want to do it. But they did recommend that people may want to get that money during the year and pay down some debt, because what's happening is the whole year that your income tax refund, which is your money, is accumulating. The government is using your money. They're taking your money and they're investing it in things and getting interest off of it. We're giving them an interest-free loan, because they're taking that money and doing stuff and getting interest back on it. And then they're going to take it at the end of the year and give us what we're supposed to have. They're going to keep what they earned off of it and just give you yours, where you could have been getting it all along and getting your own interest off of it. Because that same money that you were letting pile up for you to get to the end of the year, you can put that in a money market account that's doing like a certain rate of return over, like it used to be. Now I don't want to misquote, because it used to be, and the rate of inflation was like 4%. It probably like 20% now. as expensive as things are, because the whole point is you want to try to outpace inflation in order to get some money saved. Because if inflation is eating up what you have left over, you're not really making any money. You're just breaking even. So if you're taking your money and putting it in a interest growing account, and there are options. Like I have accounts that are set up with like T. Rowe Price and Charles Schwab outside of, because anything that my job didn't match, I took that money and started investing it outside of the job as an IRA or a money market account. So if you're doing an account that's a retirement fund specifically, of course you can't cash that out. But you can put your money in money market accounts that are more liquid. It might take you a few days to get it out, but it's not like you're going to be penalized. So I like that better than dealing with the bank, because with the bank, they were paying me at like interest of like 0.01%. I might get $5 in a year interest on savings account at a bank. So I was like, I can go find somewhere else to put it and get more interest in it. So these are some of the things that I've learned over the years. And yeah, that's the last slide. So these are some of the things that I learned over the years since being in this home-based business. And it's been really rewarding, not only just to learn it, but to be able to share it, because I'm learning it. I'm sharing it with my daughter, my family, different ones. And, like I said, at first, my dad told me I was going to jail. He told me I was going to have an orange jumpsuit. But, because he's looking at me like, well, you ain't went to school to learn nothing about no money. What you doing? And I'm like, look. And so, over the years, though, it's got to the point where when he asks me my plans and I tell him, he like, well, what do you think I should do about this, this, and this? And I'm like, me? You're asking advice from me? The jailbird? And he's like, I pretty much proven myself, because, like I said, everybody does things differently. I think, Panda, you said your focus for joining was your credit, right? You wanted to work on that. For me, I was trying to get some of those deductions because I wasn't getting no refund check. I was having to pay these people back. So I'm like, I want Uncle Sam out my pocket. That was my purpose for starting a business. But all the other stuff is just a bonus, So, you ladies got anything you want to add? That's pretty much the business, my econ business in a nutshell.
Yeah, I would just like to say the reason why I joined is because I have a couple of home businesses, and when I found out about the cash flow manager,
Mm-hmm.
and that I can just if I buy something today, all I do is use my phone, or if I'm on my computer, and upload stuff to it, find out what the category is, and that really worked for me. When I got ready to send my taxes off to my accountant,
It's
I
a
really
lifesaver.
loved it. And so I tell people, if you want, that my econ is a great home business to tell people about, because just like Melissa was saying, it'll save you money. You know, you people, when people join you, you get paid.
Right.
Okay, they have other tools that you can use, like to travel. And when people use your travel account, you get paid.
Right.
Okay, so it is a home business, and it's a financial home business that give information to people so that they can save their money too. Okay,
That,
so that's my econ to me. I was like, nah, child, I've been getting this business, and I'm still learning, because I think I've been in about maybe a couple of months.
mhm.
But as soon as I come attend a lot more of these meetings that Tony, Pandy, and Melissa does, child, I'm gonna be doing this on my channel. Yeah,
Yeah, when I first started, I was so, like we were talking Monday about things that kind of kept you from getting started. My biggest concern was I didn't think I knew enough about money to be calling myself in a business teaching people about money. But it's like the longer I stayed in, the more I listened,
Yeah.
It would be like time would pass and somebody asked me something and I'm giving them the answer. I'm like, wait a minute. You know a little something, don't you?
Right, right.
Yeah, you do learn. That's why I'm saying I love what we're doing now when we talk about my econ because it just helps me to know what to say. And I didn't even know I knew what to say today.
Right.
Me.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I just think it's the best business because, and you know, I'm not gonna say I've gotten rich from my econ. Now I know some people who have, but
Right.
for me, like I said, my biggest thing was I did not want to owe. So I didn't set out with the goals to be. You have people who set out goals and they got like 1,000 people under them, and they walk away from their jobs and they're getting residual income and they made it to this and the other. And when I get to a point where I'm ready to do that, which you know we were just talking before we started about when you make up your mind and you want to do stuff. But I think what made me so hesitant was I've never this was my first home-based business or any type of network marketing. So I was so nervous because I felt like I don't know how I'm not one for selling stuff. But then, you know, the longer we got in it, and it was like, well, you're not really selling, you're educating and providing opportunities. So when I looked at it from that perspective, it made me feel a little better about it because I'm like, ain't nobody gonna buy nothing from me. But you know, I like the education part of it. I like being able to help people. And then, you know, when I first started, I would get discouraged because you know when you hear the information and it starts working for you, you start coming up with all these people you can think of. Oh, so and so will love this. This is perfect for such and such. But what I had to realize was just because I thought it was perfect for them until they were ready to take that step and you know get the mind because it's a mindset. It's
Yeah.
more of a mindset than anything. We're so conditioned to be 9 to 5 employees that a lot of times we only think 9 to 5. You know, so when you do your own business, especially if you're like Gio, she's a entrepreneur, 100%. So her mindset is totally different than people who have to, you know, we following orders, we're doing this she makes her own decisions to do what she want to do when she want to do it. I have a certain time that I have to do what I'm supposed to do for this 9 to 5. So it's hard to switch over because then, along with being conditioned to do things, you're also used to getting a certain amount of money every week. And when you work for yourself, you know that amount depends on what you do. It's not like nobody's standing around to cut you a check just because you got a business. So there's more mindset um, that you have to change.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing I would like to add too that I think was really good that you pointed out, Melissa, since you've been with the company, you of course have been in the company longer than Gio and I,
Mhm.
but just the amount of stuff that you've picked up, the education, the classes, and the trainings are phenomenal.
They
I
are.
mean, the introductions that they bring in like these mass professionals to
Yeah.
come and talk to us about investments. They're like motivational speakers. I really am hating that I didn't get in to go on the conference this year, but I definitely know I want to do it next year for sure.
But
Just the trainings, like you said, I started off wanting to come in just to work on my credit. But the more I've been and I kind of poked around here and there and poked around there and there, and then of course you got a job, so that's wearing me out. But I keep telling myself, okay, I need to put more focus into this business so that I can graduate from the job and
mm-hmm.
give all the energy that I'm giving to the job to my business. So it's the company itself, just what they instill in us as far as the investments, understanding these valuable tax breaks and things that we are eligible for that, like I literally had no idea. That was just game changer. And so for me, I'm excited to share that information with people and tell people about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is a bummer sometimes when people aren't as excited as I am when I'm sharing, but I'm learning that's a part of the process. this is definitely a dynamic company to be involved with. And I honestly feel like even if you are already in some form of business for yourself, my econ really complements what you're already doing. You know, like Geo, for example, is already in a home-based business. She was able to come in here and utilize the tools, and it complement her in all the other areas that she works in. And that's kind of what I'm doing as well. So, I mean, I think it's just a win-win. And I'm loving what we're doing with these weekly talks and rotating them from our panels so that people can get the different perspectives and see that although we all come from a different angle, we're all able to maneuver and navigate it successfully, and they can too.
Very well said. I agree 100%. And it's like we all come from different backgrounds. Like Tony is, you know, he's in the automotive industry. I do healthcare. Everybody comes from a different, you know, they bring a different thing. So it's not like you have to be limited. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when I hear people talk about, well, that ain't meant for us. That's not made for us. And I'm like, who is us? People in Alabama named Melissa. I ain't seen nothing on that IRS.gov that said people from Alabama named Melissa can't do this. You are putting the limitations on yourself by saying that this is only for certain ethnicities or certain groups, or that, you know, the government's not doing it. So it's all about you getting out there and deciding that's what you want to do, and not sitting around waiting on, because I got people that come to me now, you still doing that? It's like they waiting on me to fail. They waiting on me to say, yeah, it didn't turn out to be what I thought it was. It did turn out to be what I thought it was and more, and I'm still here. So until, you know, I don't see any reason for me to stop doing what I'm doing, because I'm always glad to share the information. It makes me feel good. I like seeing my people, my family, be able to elevate. So if there's a way I can do that, you know, it's like a win-win. And you're gonna give me some money? Okay. Well, all right, ladies. If y'all don't have anything else, I guess we can get up out of here. See, it was so much more fun without Tony. He be cramping out about.
Well,
He gonna talk about his dad when he gets back.
yeah, he gonna get you for that one, Melissa. I really enjoyed your presentation. I think that was a good added tool for us to visualize and see, you know.
Yeah, that was the first
relate to
presentation that I went to after I joined, was that presentation. And I was sitting there listening to the, you know, the people talk about it, and I was like, well, shoot, I could do this. This is all they doing. They just gonna share this and then ask people who's interested. That's all they did. And I was like, from there, and then like I joined in November. After going to that meeting in December and seeing this, when I got back home after the holidays, I just started sharing. It was like, well, I ain't gotta, you know, people think they gotta do this big production, and then I tell people, you know, just because you see me online doing stuff, Tony and I enjoy getting on here after stealing cutting up. You don't have to do that for your business. You can do it the way you want to. So, you know, I've had people say, I'm not going to be doing video. You don't have to do video. Do it how you want to do it. You know? So my job is just so boring. I enjoy being able to have a creative outlet with this and make videos and TikToks and stuff, because, you know, I don't do nothing but read for a living.
Yeah.
Boring.
It was very relatable. I mean, I think, you know, when you meet people where they are, then they can really see the value in it. And just the mere fact, like, I'm telling you, that whole correcting your W-4 thing, and then actually finding out, wow, I actually can bring in more money. And then I can take a little bit and start divvying out and paying down some debt here and there. That was game changer for me. Game changer.
Definitely was. And then, you know, we thought when we met you and then we met Gio, because you guys are so up on the YouTube thing, Tony and I didn't know a lot about YouTube, but we knew that YouTubers that were getting an AdSense check were 1099s and they could be using this. So meeting y'all helped us, you know, kind of get a better understanding, because we was like, there's plenty of people on here that are getting lots of views and making money, but they don't realize, because they don't have the financial training, what
Right.
they're leaving on the table.
Right.
So it's like, keep doing your business you got, but apply these principles, and get your money, especially if you have a job and you're doing YouTube, because you can update that W-4 and write off stuff that you didn't know you could write off. It's not worse than leaving money on the table and finding out later that it was money that could have been in your pocket.
Right.
Exactly. Or oftentimes they're trusting that to be in someone else's hands,
Right.
or thinking it's too complex to do themselves, when we're not at a level where we can afford to be paying somebody else to do that. We can do that ourselves. We just need the knowledge.
Me and Tony's thing was, we never even understood what the W-4 is for. I know when I first started working, back when you still got that little slip of paper, it was
Yeah.
like a little half a sheet of paper. And
Yeah.
you had like 1 through 5, and you signed the bottom. I didn't know what I was doing. And they were like, how many, it's not dependent. Well, they would ask how many dependents you have, because you were
Right.
trying to figure out what your allowances should be. And I'm like, 0, and I didn't know what to do. And the people in HR, half of them don't know what to do either.
And even if they do know, they're going to tell you, we're not allowed to give you that information. I had that thing filled out so wrong, and I was going so, especially once my kids got older. And I think, and this is a huge tip for parents that are working parents, you don't really notice it when you have kids, because you're getting that earned income tax credit. But when them kids, now all 3 of my children are over 18 now, so I must have got that $1,000 bill, and I was like, "What?" I wanted to cry. I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Why?" It was like all these. I had all the numbers wrong and so high, and I no longer had these dependents.
Right,
So,
and people don't tend to update it.
Exactly. I never knew that you should go in and update it regularly, at least once a year. I keep trying to make shorts about that. I never knew about the estimator tool. And just, even if I'm just a YouTuber, these lights, the green screens, your cell phone bill, you're on your cell phone making shorts, you're using up the electricity for all your lighting and your ring lights and all that. All that stuff I would have never taken into consideration. All the different editing apps that we use.
Definitely.
All that stuff is into the cash flow expense tracker now.
Because like I upgrade to like the premium level on YouTube and Canva, and I even did it on StreamYard, because I put these applications on my taxes because I need them to run my business.
Exactly. Yeah.
So and there's a lot of YouTubers out there that could probably take advantage of it. But, people just, they tend to be skeptical when it comes to the government and IRS. But, the good thing about our program, everything is backed up by IRS.gov. So anything that I've told you today, you can go to IRS.gov, go through the publications about meals and entertainment. You can look up travel. You can look up anything I spoke about and see it in black and white. I don't have to make anything up because our founders, and we have the best founders. Our founders are Mr. Alvin Curry and Ivy Stokes. These 2 brothers, well, not literally brothers, but these 2 gentlemen both came from, meager means and built their own business. And now they're both, millionaires, and they share what they've learned with us. They don't have to, but they do. And, the fact that they're willing to even, we've had Mr. Stokes come on several times and come on our YouTube and answer questions or whatever, because he's like, if I can help, I will. Now, tell me how many times Donald Trump came and helped y'all with your business for free.
Okay.
He's not gonna do it.
And I've seen him come on the panel with you guys, and he's very generous and very forthcoming with sharing the information. And what I gather from him is he wants to see others succeed, and that's a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, our founder, they've been in business now. I think this year's 18 years. They're based in Atlanta, Georgia. Very good to us. They're always doing promos. The company is paid for. There's no, it's it paid for itself. So it's not like when we're paying this $39.95 a month, we're getting that back too. That's a write-off. So basically the government is paying you to have a business.
Right.
So
there's no gotchas.
yeah. Well, all right, guys. It's 7:00. Here it's 7:00. So thank y'all for joining me. Thanks for hanging out with me this week on my channel. I guess we'll be with Tony. I have to get with him, make sure he do what he's supposed to do. So we can be on Tony's channel next week. And
Yes.
I look forward to it. Thank y'all for hanging out with me.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.